Welcome everybody to our first NAB edition of MacBreak Studio. Now it's been some time that we've been in the same studio to bring you a tutorial, but yet here we are.
And we are in Vegas. It's early Sunday morning, but Resolve 20 just dropped, so we wanted to immediately get you our first impressions on some features we think you'll find very interesting.
Right, so we're gonna do kind of like our take on what we think are the coolest features in DaVinci Resolve 20, including some of the new and amazing AI stuff that will save you a ton of time. So let's get right into it. All right, here we are in DaVinci Resolve 20, and I have a little animated cropping effect of my friend Milt, and I did it this way so we can bring in a title here to this background. And I don't like the way the animation is working here. I want to adjust it. And previously to 20, you had to like open the clip and, expose the keyframes. You don't have to do any of that. You can just click this little button over here. It opens what's called the keyframe tray. And at the bottom of the timeline, you'll see all of your parameters that have keyframes already applied to them. And they just show up and they're plotted along this horizontal graph here, which is really, really handy.
So when you set your keyframes, you just did the way you always would have done in earlier versions of Resolve, just using the inspector over there.
Yeah, just using the inspector, but I want to change the timing. Like, for example, the X and Y position, it's not right here. So what I'm going to do is, by the way, the keyframes go away unless your playhead is over the clip that has keyframes.
Okay, I saw they suddenly disappeared.
Right.
That makes sense.
So the position keyframes really need to come in earlier. So I'm going to move the playhead to right where the cropping ends here. So what I'm going to do is just grab that keyframe and just bring it, and it just snaps right to the playhead.
Nice.
And it's really clean. And when I play this back now, that's the timing I want. So you can actually go further with this, and you can play with the easing, how the easing happens, and you have a whole keyframe graph editor built into Resolve 20, which this is amazing to me because you don't have to go into Fusion. You can do it right here by clicking this little button, this keyframes button. Now you have a keyframe panel. Now, Mark and I are vision challenged.
On this computer, it's tiny.
Yeah,
it's
a little
very tiny.
So you have this little button. If you click here, this is consistent with the Resolve UI. You can click this and then you get a whole window.
Floating palette.
A little folding palette comes out.
I assume you can resize that any way you want.
Yeah, you can resize it and put it wherever you want on the screen. I'm going to try to make it so we can see the animation and the graph. You can zoom into the graph by grabbing this. You can zoom in. And at the bottom here, just like we saw over in the keyframe tray, you can see all the parameters that are animated.
But here you can choose which ones you want to see.
Yes.
Versus over in the timeline. Here you have very fine-tuned control over choosing exactly what's visible and what you're working on.
Yeah, for example, I know that I want to ease in the position, and you can see that's represented by the yellow graph. I don't need to see the cropping, so what I could do is I can go in here and I can here, right, you can turn on, like right now if I turn that on, you can see there's the cropping graph, right? And I don't need to see that, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off.
So you just position X and Y, and Y is, let's see.
Yeah, position
X.
X.
And Y is not changing.
Yeah.
And only X is changing, got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So here, the nice thing is that you can select those two keyframes there, and then you have your easing buttons over here at the top.
So technically you turn off position Y because you're not interested in the purple line, right?
Yeah. So I can turn off position Y completely there. It simplifies it.
Yeah. So you're just seeing what you want to change.
Right. And so now let's say I want to do easing. I just click this little button. Now I got ease in and ease out. And nice. I can zoom in a little bit more. And what's really nice about this is that you can play with the amount of easing. So I'm gonna do a really slow ease in, and just so you can really see the effect of it, I'm gonna drag the second keyframe further away so you can see the effect of it. And maybe I'll do a fast ease in, or ease out, I should say, there, and just see what that looks like. So, and then, so you can see it just has just slowly gets into position there.
So you've got full control over your animation easing directly in the edit page.
Oh my gosh.
So it's basically just a traditional spline editor that you would see in Motion, that you would see in After Effects, that you would see in Cinema 4D. I mean, it's like if you've got any familiarity with working with Bezier curves and editing splines, it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and this is the kind of level of control that we really need to have when we want to animate directly in the edit page. And,
Well, that's what's great is directly in the edit page. I mean, you're just right there and you do it. And you know, honestly, I wish Final Cut would have this because yes, you can do it in motion, but it's just it's the traditional implementation that everybody should be familiar with and super easy to work with. I absolutely love it.
Sometimes I think DaVinci actually listens to Final Cut users, what they've been requesting for some time. Anyway, so we're going to move on to the next feature in Resolve 20. So now we're going to talk about vertical video, which I know everyone is super excited about. But
You got to do it.
You got to do it. And so many of our clients now are asking for vertical video. It's just reality now. So what Blackmagic has done is given us some tools that make it easier to work in this format. Right now, as I scrub over it, you can see I've got a vertical timeline viewer, and it's rather small, and I'd rather see it larger so I can make transform adjustments, moving the subject right or left relative to the vertical screen.
You just want to see what you're working on.
Exactly. So this little button over here, if you click this little button, boop, and now I have a big, huge vertical viewer, but I don't really need the source viewer here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And so now I've got
Nice
big vertical viewer. And then when I open the inspector, what's really cool is when I move the playhead, and now when I use the position scrubbers, I can really see in a much larger format.
Yeah,
you can see what you're doing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice feature that they added. So let's move on to a related subject, which is subtitles.
Okay.
When you watch Instagram or what have you, see like animated subtitles.
Subtitles or captions, like we're all using these terms in a very different way these days. So, okay, but yeah, so literally animated titles, basically?
Yes.
Or animated captions or animated subtitles?
So we're in CapCut territory now.
Yes, we are.
All right, so we just, again, a reality that we have to deal with. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create captions. We're going to go into the timeline menu, and there's a new category called AI Tools. And that wasn't there before. See, AI Tools, create subtitles from audio. You'll get a box up here. And by the way, it sits for auto. It's auto detecting what language it is. But just so you know that they've added more language support to your subtitles, which is huge. The fact that you have all these languages available. I'm just going to leave everything at the default. I'm just going to click create, and the AI goes to work, and then we'll get some subtitles.
And is it pretty quick? Oh, it looks pretty. How long is this? This is a pretty short thing.
Yeah, this thing's about a minute, almost 2 minutes long.
Still, bang! Like that was a couple of seconds, and there they all are. So it drops them in as titles. Okay.
So the first thing I would do is check the accuracy of them.
Yeah, of course.
I think I'm going to go ahead and unmute.
I was born really aspiring to be a jazz player, so I was really looking forward to working in bands where I had to read music.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's just assume that, work nicely. Now what we're going to do is we want to animate these. Okay, so if we go up to the Effects tab, and under the toolbox, there's a new category of titles called subtitles. And under that, you have animated subtitles. And you have a number of here. So what we're going to do is, here's one called Lollipop. I'm just going to grab that and drop it on the subtitle track header.
On the track header for all of the subtitles.
For all of them, yeah.
And let's make that guy big.
Yeah, let's make him big here. So let's see here.
I was born really aspiring to be a jazz player.
Okay, it's rather small. The thing I want to point out, all of this can be edited later. So like, for example, if I select the track header, and then go into click the track tab in the inspector, I can adjust the size, the font. In fact, let's bring up the size. Let's move the playhead. Let's move it. Let's move it over. There we go. And let's grab the size and just bring it up there. Okay. And
nice. So you don't have to select all the titles.
No.
You don't have to copy paste the attributes.
Nope.
You select the track header and adjust them all at once.
Yep. Yeah. So there you go.
Really aspiring to be a jazz player.
Okay, that's one. The one that people are familiar with is this word highlight. You can play with them on your own. I'm going to just drop that one on instead. And this one's. I didn't obviously remember my.
Yeah, your size change. Okay.
But here, look at this. I mean, this.
Really.
And obviously, you can change the colors of what it's doing. You can change the font.
Yeah. In fact, let's do that. Since I'm again working at the track level, let's move this. So here. I don't like yellow text, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and just make this white. And because I'm working at the track level,
Yeah.
it's applying everything.
Oh, wait, it's still yellow.
Oh, you know what I didn't do? It's super important. You actually have to click OK. Yeah, but once you do that, you're like,
was more really aspiring to be a jazz player, so I wouldn't.
That is really amazing. Do you know if you can determine how many words per like?
yeah, I would have done that at the when I first set up the captions. How many words you can do? I don't.
When it generates them?
When it generates them,
Okay,
right.
you've got some options there.
Check this out. You can like see again if you want a little higher, you can just move it, and again it affects the entire.
Well, especially for social media, you've got certain areas that are going to be covered by other things.
Yeah.
Whether you're posting to, depending on the social media platform you're posting to, you might need to change the position of the text. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. We're now going to move into a few of the features that are absolutely fantastic. And if you have to cut down a piece of music, now the AI tool built into Resolve 20 will just do it for you. And it's actually really, really good.
And by the way, I haven't seen any of this stuff. I'm seeing it for the first time that Steve's showing it to me. So I'm discovering it with you here.
All right, so I have this timeline of a vacation video I edited, and it has some pretty energetic music already that I've added, but I want to try some different music that I downloaded from stock music site. So I have this clip up here. I'm just going to drag it into the timeline. And we're not going to worry about the levels right now, but you can see that it's way too long, right? So I'm going to select the music clip. And in the inspector, there's a feature here that says AI Music Editor. And you could actually put in a specific duration if you want. Or my favorite is just click the live trim button.
Wait, and this is for any
music
track. This is not for some built-in music. This is any music that you add.
Any music that I add, right?
Okay.
So also then when I put my mouse cursor on the end, you get the cursor changes to kind of a, almost like a retiming cursor.
Okay.
And I'm just going to trim that back. I'm just going to trim that all the way to the end. So snapping on, I'm going to trim it to the end. And then it goes to work analyzing the music.
Trimmed it a little bit short.
It did. It trimmed it a little bit short, and that's okay because there's a way around that, and just don't trim it back as far.
As far, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I want you to see is where it made the cut. You can see here, there's like a little line there. That's where it made the cut.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead and play over it just so you can see it. Actually, let's solo that track, and let's unmute.
Okay, so it's identifying the music and able to figure out where to make a cut, and it's not trying to cut in multiple places.
That's
it's trying
right.
to pick the most kind of cleanest way to do it.
Let's try a completely different track. Let's take this one. This is more orchestral. So let's put that in there and select that. And let's do live trim. I don't even bother putting in the duration because it's just so easy to just grab this and just drag it. I'm going to make it slightly longer than the end this time, just so it, I found
so you get the fade out or the ring out or whatever.
You get the fade out or ring out or what have you. So on this particular track, I'm going to go ahead and solo it. Is that more edits were made? You can see ones from there and there, and look, it seems to like have a nice ring out here where it ends. So let's play those sections of the cut to hear what they sound like. Oh, let me mute that channel. Let's try over here.
Yeah.
All right, so in this example, I have the same timeline, but this time I have edits. The other one was an exported movie that we were adding music to, but this, you can see the edits.
Separate clips.
And this one has a very strong, 4/4, strong, like, what do you call it? I don't know.
Beat?
Yeah, beat. Beat. Here it is. If you right-click right on the clip, that.
And again, this is any audio track.
Any audio, right?
Okay.
You right click and you'll notice there is a new command called Show Music Beats.
Okay.
Select that, and the AI goes to work to analyze a clip. And this happens rather quick, but you'll see that there's like little white lines right at the downbeat of all the
Right, this is where I would set markers, and I'd always be off by like a frame. I'd always be a little late.
Yep.
They're not perfect.
Yeah, and you know, you're not always going to want to cut on the downbeat anyways, because it's too predictable, right? You know where they are.
This lets you do it when you want to, right?
Right. So I'm gonna bring up the trim tool, and now I could select the edit point, and now I can trim. And if you have snapping on, you could snap.
Snap to those.
You could just snap to those beat markers.
Okay.
And if you know, assuming that you want to do that, but I mean that's that's pretty cool.
Nice, super easy. And they call them beat markers, which is what I would call them, but they're just like little dashes.
Yeah, music beats. That's what I call music beats.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it on any non-music stuff. I don't know why I would. It's specifically designed for music.
I'm just in terms you don't like see a little marker. It's these
these little white,
lines.
little gray lines.
But it's super fast and easy way to hit the beats and then decide when you want to cut to the beat.
Yep. All right, on to the next feature. Okay, so we're now going to move into a much requested audio feature. It's a voiceover tool, and there's always been a voiceover tool built into Resolve, but it involved going into Fairlight and creating a track and doing, basically dancing on your left foot and while throwing salt over your shoulder. And
this is a little better.
This is way better. Okay, so I have this video of Nelson, Nevada, and this could be like a travel vlog or something that I want to add voiceover to. It's pretty typical of that. And there's a button on the toolbar, it's the microphone. If you go ahead and click that, it'll bring up the record voiceover tool. And this is pretty standard fare, as in most NLEs. And
looks like exactly like Final Cut's.
Right, and you can choose your audio input, whatever microphone you want. I'm going to use the Mac Pro microphone. You can choose what track you want to record to. I'll choose audio 2. And then up here you have some options, like you can do a countdown, and then I recommend this mute timeline audio or recording, so you don't get a feedback loop. But we're not going to record audio using the edit page. We're actually going to go in the cut page to do this, because
the cut page.
Yes, the cut page, your favorite.
I don't like the cut page.
But you're going to love it now.
All right, maybe I'll like it more. Let's see.
In the cut page, there's an added feature to the voiceover tool that I just think is fantastic. So again, you have a little microphone. You go ahead and click that. It reveals some options: cue, record, stop. But there's a new button here, a little script button. If you click that and go up here and choose load script file, you can load the script. I wrote a script, and this is in a TXT format.
Okay.
But
it does it work on other formats?
I haven't tried. I don't know.
Well, hopefully.
I know it doesn't work on Pages documents. So TXT
text file.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll click open and check it out. So it puts it over
way.
But here's the cool thing.
It's going to scroll.
It's going to scroll to the length of the video.
Okay. Just like you were having a teleprompter.
Like a teleprompter. Isn't that amazing? All right, let's do a take. In fact, what's really cool is if you're over here, you click this cue button, playhead jumps.
Okay.
And then now go ahead and hit record. And Nelson is located in Nevada State Route 165. You can get there by traveling 25 miles from Boulder City by road.
The area was originally called El Dorado by the Spaniards who discovered gold in 1775.
Nice. So at this point, it's already in there. I don't want to edit. I don't want to continue working in the cut page.
Hey, let's get out of it. Get back to that
So now
page.
look, I put it here, right?
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is just bring up the volume a little bit, and let's play this back. Nelson is located in Nevada State Route 165. You can get there by traveling 25 miles from Boulder City by road.
The area was originally called El Dorado by the Spaniards who discovered gold in 1775. Okay, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That is pretty sweet,
Yeah, so
I have to say.
they took the voiceover tool to the next level, and I always appreciate any company that will improve upon a tool that's been used forever.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This next feature, for me, is, I don't know why I didn't put it at the top. It might be a small thing to some people, but for a living, I edit voiceover. That's what I do. I mean, all of our tutorials I'm constantly going through and removing all of the
Ums and ahs.
Ahs, and even my lip smacking.
Yeah, I got a lot of that.
Yeah. So there's a new there's a new AI tool that will go through and remove all that junk for you. Let's check it out. All right, well, we're going to work in the same timeline that we recorded our voiceover into. So here, the voice effect, I'm going to go ahead and make this track pretty large. And, you know, there's some noise in here between words. You may not hear it, but in headphones, it becomes really pronounced, and I can hear it. And I like to go through and get rid of this, but I don't want to do it with keyframes. Just let's use AI to do it. And this feature is built into Fairlight. It's not in the edit page, so you're gonna have to jump over to Fairlight and you can do it there. But it's really, you can see how easy, you're here, and then you have to select the entire clip, and I'm using this this range tool here. So you can actually do it on a section, or you can select the entire track.
The whole thing.
Right.
Might as well do the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But once you do, you just right click, and in the contextual menu, you just choose Remove Silence. First of all, you get graphics of all the areas that the algorithm figured out, like the areas that should be silenced.
So it hasn't done anything yet.
Hasn't done anything
Just
yet.
identifying where
Right.
to go. Okay.
And then you can decide, the threshold level at which, it's going to make its decisions. So right here, you can.
Could you add to those areas before it does it? Like I see it and missed a little area right there.
Yeah, there.
There you go. There's like a tolerance thing.
It's tolerance. Yeah, thank you. Threshold tolerance. Right. But then you can also do what's called it's called pre-head. So I guess it's looking
how far right before you start speaking.
Yes.
That it'll make silent.
Exactly. And you also have a post-tail too.
Got it.
So like times you want like something at the very end to be cut off. You can adjust that as well.
Kind of like an attack and release in a way.
Yeah. Oh, and one of my favorite things is this fade head and tail, because you're going to see you'll see what that does in a second. I'm going to go ahead and click Remove Silence. And
I can see the fades.
It adds fades, so you don't get the clicks and the pops.
Yep.
At the cut points.
Yeah, it fades into and out of every time the voiceover starts and stops.
So if I go into the edit page, and you can see in the edit page that there it is. But I mean, that's just amazing, and it's just going to save so much time.
I compare this a little bit to Final Cut Pro's voice isolation, because that kind of does a similar thing. But
the voice isolation actually applies an algorithm and actually tweaks with the EQ, the dynamics.
Right.
This doesn't.
This isn't touching the actual voiceover, just cutting out the spaces in between.
Yep, the spaces in between. Great.
Fantastic.
All right, let's look at the next one. So here I am with a project, and I'm ready to output it for YouTube. And I have dialogue tracks, I've got music, I've color-coded them. So I typically color-code my tracks so I can see the different
dialogue,
elements.
music effects.
Yes, dialogue, music, and effects. And if I play some of this, you'll see that there's no mix at all. In fact, I'll just play from here.
All right, so they're all competing. You've got a voiceover competing with the music, competing with the applause.
Yep.
And there's something else in there too.
Yeah, and especially when the music went here. There's no fade in or anything.
Right. Okay, so you just kind of slammed them all in place, but it needs a mix?
It needs a mix. Now, what Blackmagic recommends is that before you do anything, you duplicate your timeline and work on that rather than your main timeline.
This is going to do a lot.
So I'm going to select the timeline, go up to the edit menu, and choose duplicate timeline. So here's my timeline appended with the word copy. I'll go ahead and open it up. And I have my timeline here. So I'm going to go to the timeline menu and choose AI Tools. And there's my audio assistant.
Okay.
Do your work, Mr. Robot.
Mr. Roboto.
Yeah. Now, actually, there's one interim step. You have to tell what your delivery standards are. YouTube is set by default, but there are other delivery standards. You can set Netflix, Disney, what have you. I'm just leave it set for YouTube.
So it'll for levels.
For levels. LUFS, what have you. So auto mix. Boom. And so what it first does is it classifies all the audio by dialogue, music, and effects, and it goes through and it normalizes those for each of those elements.
It's applying its own color coding.
Yes,
It's doing that.
its own color coding. Yes.
What just appeared at the bottom? Like this green track appeared at the bottom and disappeared. There, what's
I have
happening?
no idea. It's the magic under the, I don't know.
It's done.
It's done. But what's interesting about it is all the stuff that it classified as music, it put into like an orange color coding.
Kind of like rolls.
Right, and it left the sound effect as purple. It didn't change that, but it did change the color of the dialogue. Remember, it was green, and now it's kind of a navy color. So it's showing you visually kind of like what what elements it actually affected.
Yes. Okay.
So I guess let's play it back and see how it did on this more challenging aspect.
Yes, more overlapping dialogue, applause,
Yeah.
music.
Music playing was restricted to having to play the charts. I
Dialogue
don't
sounds
care
good.
that much with playing charts. I like improvising.
So is it actually ducking the music under the voiceover?
It sounds like it.
Charts. I like improvising.
It's not an end all be all. Like, for example, for me the applause is a little bit too loud. So you can go in and you can adduct these and make changes
So you can
as necessary.
adjust it.
You can adjust everything after the effect. But what's nice is it's an initial first pass, and you can get it close, so you don't have to spend all that time. And it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And if it gets you 80 or 90% of the way there, then you're doing the fine tuning.
Yeah.
And not all the work up front.
Yep.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Great. So the last feature we're going to look at is smart switching in multicam. Okay, so this next feature is pretty cool, and it's very specific what it's designed for. You won't want to use it on every type of multicam. It's specifically designed for multicam edits that are like podcast style.
So back and forth between two people.
Yeah, back and forth,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I recommend working multicam to turn on the dual viewers, because you're not going to see the multicam tool unless the dual viewer mode is on. I typically like to work in single viewer mode. But down here, if you click on this, you can down here and choose multicam, and there are my two angles. I just kept it simple, a wide and a close-up of my friend Abba there. And just like any other multicam tool, you can cut back and forth between them. And I already have the audio already set up that I want to use, because we're using wireless mics. And at this point, I don't want to go through this entire thing and make a cut. I want AI to do it for me. And to do that, I'm going to click this button right here. And there's some options here. For example, you might want to choose a minimum edit duration. Like right now, the minimum edit duration would be 1 second.
Yeah, and even that's pretty quick, but maybe there's a reaction shot or something.
Exactly. So I'm going to leave it out of default, and then you can edit the change delay, right? So it's not going to happen in this case, it's 0.3 seconds. So you can set a delay for when you want the.
Oh, okay, so it sort of recognizes, hey, this guy's speaking. How quickly do I cut to it?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. You have some wide angle options where it's favoring the wide angle when it's making kind of its decisions about what to cut to. And you can choose the wide angle frequency as a low or medium or high frequency.
Yeah, if you prefer to go wide most of the time and only occasionally punch into I shouldn't say punch in, cut to the angle that's a close-up.
Correct, right. And then you can also switch like video only. I don't want to switch the video and audio because I already have my audio track set. I just want to have it video only. And then you could choose a quality to get faster or better. And I should point out that once I run analyze, even this 13-minute clip took about 3 minutes.
Okay.
I haven't tried the better setting yet.
And you did that at faster.
I did it faster.
And it took about 25% of the duration of the clip to do it. Okay.
So about 3 minutes. So I'm going to click analyze now, and you need a decent.
It's going to take time.
It's going to take some time.
So if you've got an hour podcast, I mean, based on this, it might take 15 minutes to do it.
Well, this one's going to be looks close to 8 minutes to do it. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
So obviously the faster is faster. So I'm not going to.
And this is on an M1.
It's an M1 Max, yeah. It's my lowly M1 Max. But I'm not going to torture you by making you sit here and watch that. I already actually have it cut.
Of course you do.
I have it cut there. So this is using the fast setting. But I'm going to go ahead and play.
And this is a cut that the AI did. You didn't adjust this at all.
I didn't adjust this at all. This is all AI cutting. And before I play it, I should point out it's not just making decisions based on the audio. It's looking at the picture to match to see who's actually talking.
Yeah, okay, actually looking for lip movement.
Yeah,
interesting.
lip.
Do you want to close this view just so we can see? Abba a little bigger, his beautiful face.
Yeah.
But this was a different Final Cut.
Well, now we have 11. So this is
That's right.
Final Cut. There's one. Final Cut 1 came out in 1999
At NAB.
At NAB.
April 1999.
Yeah, I still
was
remember
cool.
the box.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The CD-ROMs that came in the box.
Yeah.
And do you remember the Lindy Hop?
The Lindy Hop, and it was low resolution, but
Yeah, like 360. It wasn't even HD. It was.
It's cool because it didn't immediately cut to you when you started talking. You know, it let you talk for a while it was still on ABBA when you're going back and forth. I mean, it felt very natural.
It did. That's pretty incredible.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's kind of hilarious about this is you're talking about Final Cut Pro in this while we're using Resolve to do the multicam edit. It's a little bit.
I think it's hilarious. Well, we just needed something conversational. Abba and I go back like
Right,
25 years, and when Apple was actually here, and it's really cool. Well, not cool, but it's interesting that where Apple used to be, that's where Blackmagic is now.
On their location on the show floor.
On the show floor, yeah.
Which we're going to go to shortly.
Yeah, we're going to have a video about what we saw there.
So this is great. Absolutely excellent. Very cool features. And really, we focused here on editing type features. So probably later we'll go into some of the other things on the color page and fusion page and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, we want to go deeper, but that's a quick look at all the new features in DaVinci Resolve 20. If you haven't clicked the subscribe button, please do. And please let us know in the comments what you think.
Absolutely. Very interested. We read all the comments.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.